We're joined by Corporal Christian Hicks of the Shreveport Police Department. He is our very first recipient of our Top Cop Award. I got so sick of hearing stories across the nation about bad police officers doing this, officers doing that, this officer fired or suspended.
I was just going to ask.
I was tired of it.
Before we talk to Christian and we get a little story about him, he's a Shreveport guy, etc. But you had the idea. Give folks a little history on your Top Cop idea.
That is exactly it. I had been hearing so much talk about bad officers, the officers do this wrong, and I knew deep in my soul that 99.9% of the police officers out there do great work every day, unheralded, unappreciated, low paid, and putting their life on the line every day. And I said, I got to figure out something. So I called in all the local law enforcement guys who help put this together with me, who run their communications divisions, and said, I want to do this. What's the best way to do it? Help me out. And they helped put some of the guidelines together where we're just letting our listeners and our audience send in nominations for our Top Cop. We're going to pick a winner every month. And at the end of the year, we're going to let listeners vote for who the big winner is every year. And our first winner is Corporal Christian Hicks with the Shreveport Police Department, who was nominated, by the way, by several people. Just give you a heads up. And I don't think one was your wife.
I don't think it was.
Some people got nominated by family members.
She's not even on your side,
which is fine.
What a shame.
But Christian is a Shreveport officer. Tell us how long you've been on the force first.
I actually went through the academy with this woman right here, Angel Wilhite. I've been there 15 years.
15 years. And you're assigned to what now?
Pardon me just a second. You look about 26. How could you got on the department when you were 11?
I'm 37 years old, and
wow.
I hired on when I was 21. I started the academy at 22.
So another myth about policemen is that they don't have an excellent daily skincare regimen. That is obviously not the case.
Yeah. I'm 37. I've been there 15
What
years.
are you assigned to do now? Where are you?
I have been on patrol. I work the west side of town in Cedar Grove, and I've been there for 15 years, my entire career.
Okay. You got heralded for not only your work on the force, but also off the force for rescuing dogs and horses and cats and children. And oh my goodness, do you ever sleep?
Well, you know, I tend not to. I try not to take the job home with me, but after the end of the day, after you make certain calls, it follows you home, and you want to take that extra step and help someone or help something as far as an animal or a person. And I get with my wife, and we do certain things, and you know, we try to do good deeds. Makes me feel better.
He has spent money out of his own pocket when he sees needs.
Pardon me a second. I get the sense that this young man is being somewhat modest about his achievements, his accomplishments, and that extra mile, if you will. Do you have some of the info in front of you?
Yes. Christian's been a standout police officer and embodies the role of a public servant. He's patrolled the Cedar Grove and Sunset Acres neighborhood for 15 years and is well known and respected by the citizens that live in that area. Even off duty, one incident is cited. He saw a suspicious situation at a store and went inside to check on it. Turned out the store had just been robbed and the owner shot. Corporal Hicks called 911 for an ambulance and stabilized the man while they waited, saving his life. During the Christmas season, he was distributing toys around the neighborhood he patrols, ran out of toys before he ran out of kids who needed them, so he personally went and bought 22 more toys for them so no one went without, paid for them out of his own pocket. That's just one of many examples.
Pardon me, you're here, so let's pretend you're not. I'm in awe of that.
I love people like that. Unheralded. He's not planning on being recognized for doing what he does. It's just the kind of guy he is. I'm pretending he's not here. He's that kind of guy.
I'm blushing for him.
You have tears in your eyes at the moment.
This is pretty impressive.
And Christian is sitting here in front of us today, willing to go out on his shift. When he leaves here, he's going to work, willing to get for you and I.
I'm not sure I would have phrased it that way, but
that's his everyday life. That's his everyday life. He's willing to go out there, put his life on the line. And when you hear people say put his life on the line, that's a nice way of saying he's willing to get shot for you.
Let's go a little different direction.
Okay, thanks.
What Erin just described is a policeman who either because of the guys he has worked with when he was younger, and I'm sure you'll credit some of them, but also because instinctively, because of the goodness of your heart, understand and practice daily what your superiors, what politicians always talk about in a cliche, community policing. And that is, to some degree, it's such a cliche, but you live that and work that, and I'm sure that you and a lot of guys you work with do that every single day. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we go into these neighborhoods and we make these calls with these people. You know, we have maybe just a few minutes from the time we get the call to we get there to really know what's going on. But obviously there's problems lying there that pre-exist long before we got there. And to try to get to those people and get with them and figure out what's really going on, and talk to them, it's just an experience that that sometimes goes home with me. And you know, I don't just finish it there. Sometimes maybe the next week or two, I'll stop back by to check in on them.